Hey there, welcome to Rockin' 40 Seconds. Today's band, Led Zeppelin. Their story begins with the British rock band, the Yardbirds, that formed in 1963, and during their early years they had a string of hit songs, such as For Your Love and Heart Full of Soul. However, by 1968, the band was facing internal conflicts and was on the verge of breaking up. Guitarist Jimmy Page, who had joined the Yardbirds in 1966 and had played on their last two albums, was looking to continue his career in music. With the Yardbirds on the brink of collapse, Page decided to form his own band. Page recruited bassist John Paul Jones, who he had worked with in the past as a session musician, and asked him to play bass as well as do arrangements for the band. He also brought in vocalist Robert Plant after he was suggested by Terry Reid, who was Page's first choice for lead singer. Later, Plant would suggest the addition of former Band of Joy drummer John Bonham. With these four musicians, Jimmy Page formed a new band, which he had named the New Yardbirds based off of his previous band. However, they soon realized that they couldn't use the name Yardbirds as it was already taken and decided to change it. They took inspiration from their meetings and decided to name the band Led Zeppelin after a comment made by Keith Moon and John Entwistle from The Who had described the New Yardbirds as going down like a lead balloon, and thus Led Zeppelin was born. Their debut album, simply titled Led Zeppelin, was released in 1969 and featured hit classics such as Dazed and Confused and Good Times, Bad Times. They would soon follow up the success of their first album with Led Zeppelin II, which was recorded during a very busy period of their career, as they had recorded the majority of the album while on the road for their American and European concert tours. This album featured such hits as Whole Lotta Love and Heartbreaker, and my personal favorite on the album, Ramble On. In 1970, for Led Zeppelin III, Page and Plant decided to seclude themselves in a remote cottage located in Wales to write the album, and what they came up with was more of a folk and Celtic-influenced album. It featured hit songs such as Immigrant Song and Since I've Been Loving You. In late 1971, Led Zeppelin released their fourth studio album, commonly known as Led Zeppelin IV. This would end up being their best-selling album and one of the world's best-selling albums of all time. It would go on to sell 37 million copies worldwide, and it features some of their most commonly known songs, including Stairway to Heaven, Black Dog, and Rock and Roll. Throughout the 1970s, Led Zeppelin enjoyed enormous commercial and critical success, but also faced their fair share of controversies. The band faced numerous legal disputes, including plagiarism allegations, but it didn't stop them from releasing more albums and tours, with House of Holy, Physical Graffiti, and Presence being some of the highlights. Sadly, though, in 1980, drummer John Bonham passed away from an alcohol overdose, and the band decided to disband in the aftermath. Despite the band's brief career, Led Zeppelin has had a huge influence on rock music and continues to be celebrated for their blues-infused sounds and iconic riffs. They've sold over 300 million records worldwide and continue to be one of the best-selling music bands of all time. The band has been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and continues to inspire new generations of musicians. Thanks for joining us on this journey through the history of Led Zeppelin. This was Rockin' 40 Seconds. Don't forget to like and subscribe.